In our third series of the day, the drafting phase officially begins.
All right, let's jump right into it. It's going to be Team LUNATIX on the blue side with Team CARACAL on the red side here. The bans have already commenced, and they're fast on this. It's going to be Esmeralda and Akai coming in from Team LUNATIX, priority being passed over to Team CARACAL as Valentina has already been banned. The fans, they are well integrated with these teams. No rain, no party.
Yep, I do always enjoy seeing the fan interactions out there. You guys, I think you watch a lot more MLBB than even some of us here on the caster desk do, so we'll be relying on you guys for all the hot information and all the best memes. Without further ado though, we're already seeing 3 heroes being banned out. These are heroes that are becoming quite prevalent here. The Akai, Fairmiss, and Valentina having pretty high ban rates overall, but it is interesting that Esmeralda would be so quickly banned out.
Well, I think there is an idea coming around here. Either they are prepared and they know Sino Meows. Oh man, I can't believe I have to say the full name. I'm not going to say the full name every single time. Well, maybe we'll think about it as we get into game. But Sino specifically, his hero pool, he is known to be the king of Cho. He was the one trick before he expanded his pool in the professional scene. So maybe Team LUNATIX has more insight on Team CARACAL than we would like to believe.
In addition to that, we can actually see from the roles above the players that Team CARACAL are fielding 2 EXP laners, Rash and Sino. So one of them is going to need to swap things up here in this game.
That's true. Let's see what the final ban is going to be. I'm honestly, despite the reworks that have happened, we haven't seen too many of the newer reworks other than Fairmiss, right? Especially in the ban phase and the pick phase since Friday, right? So it's Leomord as well as Vixana, which haven't been touched whatsoever by any of these professional teams on the main stage.
You could argue the same could be said about the revamp for Leomord because it doesn't really feel like he's been touched very much.
Yeah, that is true.
With the first pick, it's going to be Fanny finally getting led through the draft for the first time today. Team LUNATIX instantly snapping this up, and I'm honestly very excited to see this. From his performance in the qualifiers, Amal is very familiar with playing on these assassin heroes, so Fanny shouldn't be too out of his ballpark.
I totally agree with that one. I think this is one of the few situations whereby Team CARACAL, it's either they look for single target lockdown or just hard early game assassination, because again, Fanny is very much dependent on that purple buff. You shut down the purple buff, you shut down a lot of her presence across the map.
And we'll see whether or not that's a choice here. They're gonna start things off with Brody. This is a very comfort pick for Zed. Obviously, previously when he was with Suha's Esports, the Brody was always the fallback plan if they didn't have other marksmen to go to. And even when they have every other marksman to go to. So Zed looks like his hero pool looking to be pretty similar overall. And the Julian getting let through the draft means that the team is going to pick it for sure.
Oh wait, now that I think about it, in terms of the ban, sorry, not draft, Week1 has been let through. So let's see if Team LUNATIX actually want to take it up. But they're going to get the Thamos first, as well as the Lilia. Week1 not touched just yet. And I don't think Team CARACAL are planning to go with double marksmans this round.
Yeah, the Week1 is not going to be picked up by Team CARACAL. So the big question is whether or not they want to ban it for the second phase, because Team LUNATIX hasn't actually picked up their gold laner just yet. But we can actually see that from their lineup as well. Team LUNATIX, they're not fielding Flint today. They are going with the original 5 members of Team Lama today.
That's good to see. That's good to see. That means it's the team with the most amount of synergy together. And I think that's a really important factor because they want to start off strong as well as show a good performance here at the MPL, especially for their debut game.
Well, with Ling being the final pick from Team CARACAL in this first phase, that's going to be 2 very mobile assassins going head to head. I'm honestly really interested to see a Fanny versus Ling, and it's not often you get to see that on the Land of Dawn.
Yeah, no, it really isn't. And I think most of the time, Fanny usually is able to get away before Ling can actually look to punish. But again, that's 2 very purple buff reliant junglers on either side. Beatrix, the following ban coming in from Team CARACAL, I wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of the Week1 too.
The fact that they're banning Beatrix before Week1 leads me to believe, though, that Team CARACAL may have information that we don't. It's possible that Mint simply doesn't know how to play Week1, but we will find out. Now it's Team Lunatix's turn to ban. We can see Team CARACAL, they have their mage. I'm pretty sure Julian will be going mid lane, as well as the jungler and gold. So the EXP lane is going to be focused down here with Phoveus getting banned out.
Huh, interesting. Does Lunatix want to take away Cho, possibly from Sino, or at the very least just hold it on as, you know, I don't want you to have a potential counter pick for my Fanny anyway, so it's better to have it rather than let it through.
The Cho would be a pretty good shout. We've already mentioned that Sino's very comfortable on it. Optionally, they could also consider the Ruby. Not really seen quite as much, but still a very good Fanny counter. It's just that the lane against Hamas is kind of rough, so probably not likely.
Alright, with Week1 finally getting banned out here, and I feel like a missed opportunity for Team Lunatix to actually pick up the Week1. Well, you win some, you lose some, as Team Lunatix ban out the Cho now.
Okay, so they are respecting a little bit on Sino here, and it does make sense because we would have a bit more information on Sino as compared to a lot of these other players simply because he has played in the MPL before. So now that these heroes have been banned out, what is going to be the pickup for Team CARACAL? Cho, a very obvious counter to the Fanny with the Way of the Dragon, has already been removed from the pool. I think they do definitely need a tankier option right now. Their roamer is still missing, and most of their heroes are kind of squishy.
Franco. No, they would decide
Really?
to go for Grok. Wow. Okay, so, they've got some pretty good engage here. However, Fanny is still going to be a majority of the problems. Team Lunatix on the other side decide to go for Masha. I think that this is a really good option considering that Brody doesn't really do much against the Masha and doesn't have enough DPS to try and burst down, especially with the torn apart memories against 3 health bars. That's kind of a bit too much to deal with.
But that is also what Masha picked up when you already have a Tamus, and it's not as if Tamus is going jungle since you have a Fanny. Is this a roam Masha? It is! It's a roam Masha! It has been such a long time since we've seen that, and Clint, the final pick for Team Lunatix.
Alright, it's going to be extremely important because Team CARACAL, when they locked in their support of Grok, yes, he's got big boy damage, but at what cost? Will this Masha be able to chunk down Ling enough to threaten him and deny the purple buff on the first level? We're gonna have to wait and see.
There's still a possibility, actually, that this Grok is EXP lane, though.
That's a good shout, too.
Franco is actually still open if they want to pick it up to counter the Fanny. Would be good to catch out the Clint win as well.
Okay, looks like it's not. I was thinking maybe Valir, if anything, if they really needed to deal with something, to deal with this Masha very quickly, especially at level 1, but it looks like Team CARACAL are confident that they should be fine and they will be able to move past it. The Uranus, super safe in the EXP lane, not to mention that they also have Grok. Let's see how this early game is going to go, because Team Lunatix, they've got a bit of an advantage here.
I'm personally very curious to see whether or not Masha is still that hero that's gonna run into the enemy jungle and harass the jungler out of lane, considering that a lot of things have changed with the hero and with the meta overall since we saw roaming Masha become a thing. But now that the draft is already complete, both these teams are ready to enter the land of Dawn. On one side, we can see Team Lunatix going to have a very strong composition playing around the Fanny, high mobility, high damage, whereas on the opposite side, you could say pretty much the same. The Ling and the Julian are going to be heavy points of contention and heroes that you have to pay a lot of attention to once you hit that mid-game. Let's enter the land of Dawn for our third and final series of the day.
All right, let's jump right into it here. Our final series of the day, the debut of both Team Lunatix and as well Team CARACAL. And Yamichi immediately, wait, hold up. Is Yamichi going to steal this away? Yeah, he's going to steal this purple buff away. And does Bad Boy go?
Sino!
And Sino! He ends up dying! That's a little too early, but it's too late. Yamichi unable to take away the purple buff in time. And Meow, so I say Meow, everybody's Meow. Ken is going to jump right in and use his retribution to steal it away. Remember our wager, if I mess up a skill name, Shaw call it the next time I'm with you because I don't trust Icy Baby. I
can't believe that you're actually going to go through
That's how confident I am.
We will see. But yeah, that was a little unfortunate. Oh, Zed taking a lot of damage here, forced to flicker away to avoid getting taken taken out by Mint. Meanwhile, we can see that Yamichi and Rain gonna be roaming together, applying a lot of pressure. Sino looks like he is indeed going to be playing in the roam position here.
Yep, I think so far it's been so good, especially for Team CARACAL. They haven't really been punished too hard, and at the end of the day, even though they did lose Sino early on, it doesn't mean that he's completely out of it. He is just a roamer for now. Ken, though, he's playing it slow. He's going to allow Emal to actually take away one of his camps. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. However, he needs to get that level 4 sooner rather than later.
Now, actually, I think Ken did secure that camp. He had to use his retribution to get it, but he was still able to finish it off. So at the very least, he's not too behind at EXP. But Mint now going to be taken out potentially. Tempest of Blades invested. That's a 1v3. No way he's getting out of that one.
Yep, Sino once again keeping eyes on where the rest of the team members are. As we can see that Rash is taking his sweet time. He's going to use his Ionic Edge, slowly stack it up as much as he can, but I don't think they can really contest. Oh, it looks like they might contest for this, but Topside takes a trade. Bad Boy is here, and it's going to be Emal taking his time, waiting for the right moment, takes away the turtle, they back off, and now this game is looking to be very bloody.
Yeah, both teams are just out for blood right now, and just as we mentioned that, Goldie Luck going to be the next target. Luckily, it is a Tamus, very difficult to take out. In terms of emblems here, we can see that most things are pretty normal, but we can see that Emal has elected to go for the high and dry on Fanny rather than something like the killing spree.
I guess he really wants to win the lane, but I don't know. I think there is a world where Weapon Master might have been better, but let's see this engagement here as Sino does see the potential dive coming in from a TL right now. As they start taking away camps and taking away space, we can see the movements coming across the team. They notice that, you know, the orange buff has been taken away. Zed has to somehow live this. Flickers away as Yamichi wants to go for it. There we go. The dive successful coming in from Emal. But they find the trade on one. The double kill from Fanny's. The steel cables out of control. They cannot keep up with his pace, but they will take one in return with the chains, the enhanced chains from Bad Boy taking out Rain.
That was a bit of a miscalculation from Rain there. He did not need to die to Bad Boy, and that's going to be a free kill going over to Team CARACAL. But right now, Lunatics are in control. Despite what happened in earlier the game, they have a 1.2k net worth lead, and they are going to be making use of that. The Fanny currently 3-0.
Yeah, now Emal has to really snowball this lead because Fanny falls off super quickly in the later stages of the game. So once mid-game comes around, which is going to happen in about 2 minutes or so, he really has to make an impact. Either really shut down Ken or look to start punishing Zed specifically. He's already 0-2. Pushing him further into the dirt is definitely going to help the Lunatics.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what they want to try and achieve here. Something to note is that both these junglers are heavily dependent on their purple buff. So whoever is able to get a notable advantage against the other is going to be able to steal the enemy's purple buff a lot more effectively than the other. And Sino gonna fall once again to Rain.
Yeah, Rain is just picking him off every single time. The magic damage is useful, but now Rash, he's got to play this slow. He's already used the... Wait, hold on. Bad Boy, he gets locked down by Goldilocks, and now the Tempest of Blades to escape, but Rash now, it's too late for him. He's trying to run, but Uranus just refuses to go down, and Team Lunatics, hands off the wheel, don't want to be involved no longer.
Another turtle gonna go the way of Team Lunatics. Really well done. You can definitely see that there is a sense of coordination between Team Lunatics. After all, these 5 players have played together for a very, very long time. They are familiar with each other's mannerisms and know exactly how they want to engage here. Yamichi might be a little out of position.
Yep, Emal, he's going straight for it. Zed tries to juke with the rush, but it's too late. Emal sending his cables and covering the most ground as he possibly can. And Sino is here to disengage. Guardian's barrier is already up to ensure that he can't go through. But Yamichi jumps right in, ensuring the death. Ken trying his best. Tempest of Blades has been dropped as Bad Boy Meow is getting right into the middle of it. Ooh, the trapping recoil doesn't connect. Lucky him. A good flicker.
Yeah, but being forced to use the flicker in that situation is not going to be ideal. We can see in terms of the gold ranking right now, the highest gold is actually Rain, the mid laner from Team Lunatics, followed by Min. In comparison, Zed, considering how much pressure he's been under, is in the bottom half of the lineup. This is not ideal for Team CARACAL's gold lane.
Yeah, it truly isn't, especially since that, you know, Zed technically wanted to win his lane hard. This is going opposite of what he wanted. Now, Sino now in some trouble, already down to 50% HP, uses the wild charge to get on out of there. Not the unstoppable force, but it's too late. Imal is too big, already getting the free execute onto Zed. Doesn't have a chance to fight back.
And a beautiful thunderclap from Yamichi as well on top of Ken to make sure that the lane wouldn't be able to follow up onto Amal, who was on very low HP, knocking him off the wall before he could complete his animation. Team LUNATIX right now doing an amazing job.
Yep, I mean, LUNATIX are all across the map, and they're really pressing this lead that Emal has right now. 5-0-0, hasn't gotten a single death. These neutral objectives are uncontestable, but Team CARACAL in a bit of disarray here. As you know, looking for these big engages, but unfortunately, Team CARACAL can't really do too much about it.
Team CARACAL, though, do have pretty solid late game scaling with the Uranus and the Ling. Not to mention, if Zed is able to start picking up some items, the Brody is quite difficult to contest as well. So Team LUNATIX need to make sure they hold on to this lead. Looking at the items here, we can start to see why Amal went for the high and dry. He first itemed the Malefic Roar.
That is respectable. He did go... Oh, wait. On top of the... He goes for the Malefic Roar, decides to get the Blade of Hephaestus on top of it now. He's got plenty of damage, but the same can be said about Ken. He did get his Berserker's Fury, and ideally he should have enough damage to take out some of the squishier targets. But Rash taking a lot of damage. Emal now trying to finish him off, but he's just too tanky.
That's Uranus for you, going to be able to pop the incandescence and get out. Amal dropping real low to Ken, but he will be able to get away. And Goldilocks doing a very good job of buying time yet again. I don't know if Ken just didn't finish his boots until now where he swapped it, but he did actually just get a tough boots.
Yes, he was holding on to his regular boots, didn't want to upgrade it until he could rush his core items, the Windtalker as well as Berserker's Fury. Speaking of which, Bad Boy now looking for an opportunity here. Yumichi continuing to taunt his opponents as Goldilocks is going in his 1v1 against Sino. The Wild Charge comes through onto Goldie. He pops his ult, he's trying to get into the middle of it, and that's where you find it! One kill onto Sino, Rush the next to fall as they run them down the mid lane. Zed has no spells left to save his life. Bad Boy gets a good sidestep, but he watches 3 of his teammates get cut down.
Just utter and complete rundown from Team LUNATIX. Usually you'd want to be a bit more careful engaging under the tower like that, but nope, they just rush straight in. Having the tanky frontline of both Goldilocks and Yamichi is just so disruptive and creates a lot of space for Amal and Rain, setting things up for the next Lord.
Yep. Now, Sino, I think he's just been having an overall rough game. 0-5 already. He's not as tanky as you'd like to be, but the Molten Size pulls him backwards, and now he's forced to use the Wild Charge to get out of there. Goldie is on his tail, but Rash has to body block whatever he can to allow his support to survive. Orange buff given over to LUNATIX.
This is looking pretty bad for Team CARACAL. Right now, they don't have control even on their own side of the map. Zeno not being able to do much with this Grok pickup is causing them a lot of issues because there's just no good way to engage, and LUNATIX is too tanky.
Yep. Oh, this is a good move coming in from the LUNATIX. They're going to reset aggro on the Lord because Team CARACAL, they can't afford for them to steal this away. They want to have this to be a clean game. Rash going to slow down Yumichi, taking down 2 of his health bars, and now Yumichi is going to have to pull back, recharge, and now we're back to square one.
That's good discipline coming out from Team LUNATIX and Team CARACAL as well, recognizing that all they have to do is reset the Lord because a lot of cooldowns have to be used in order to take it down to half HP in the first place. But the AI winning prediction right now is leaning heavily in favor of Team LUNATIX, even though it is only about a 5k net worth lead.
Okay, I mean, this is taking into a lot of things into consideration. The number of structures, as well as neutral objectives obtained, gold earned by certain players. Rain right now is currently sitting high on that damage chart, but Rash, once again, getting chunked out by Goldie, who pops the Vengeance rather early. So that means that Team CARACAL don't have to worry about Goldie being impenetrable just yet. As soon as Goldie is able to get his ult back up, I think Team LUNATIX are going to go for a full commitment to maybe try and get a fight. I mean, look on bot side. We've got a split push going from Emo. Emo.
Yep, Emal's just going to consistently push out that bottom lane, forcing Ken to respond to it and getting quite a lot of farm for himself as well. The Fanny is huge right now, still 5-0 at this stage of the game. Team LUNATIX, they're just continuing to dance around this Lord. I don't think they want to go for full dive until this vengeance on Goldilocks comes back up.
Third item just being received by Ken, but that's going to be Lord falling into the hands of the LUNATIX. They're unable to do too much about it. Team CARACAL just have to back off, and Ken, nowhere to be seen, cannot contest this neutral objective.
The big question now for Team CARACAL is, typically in a 6k net worth difference, it's still very possible to make a comeback, but what do they need to do to make that comeback in the first place?
I think a lot of it has to do with just shutting down Rain. Emal will eventually run out of gas, so I think if Team CARACAL just play their timers, they're going to get to a point where they should be able to sustain through most of it. However, I will say that the LUNATIX, their scaling is very scary.
Yamichi right there, 1v3 against Team CARACAL, and he's absolutely fine. Still has all of his health bars. They're now breaking down the mid tier 2, and with the Lord pushing down bottom, Team LUNATIX want to get as many objectives as possible. Yamichi buying a lot of space.
Beautiful synchronization of the minion waves just crashing in. They get some damage, but Sino so very low. Forced to flicker out of their playmaking capabilities has been dropped. Now the second wave comes on through, and it looks like TL, they want this mid inhibitor. They've invested so much in it. Bad boy looking for an initial pick, but Goldie refuses to fall into the enhanced chains. It's so close to being destroyed.
That was actually really impressive response timing from Team LUNATIX as well. Mint especially being able to use the trapping recoil to dive backwards right at the same time. Bad Boy jumps in for the enhanced chain. It's very difficult to spot out the Julian in that big mess of heroes, but he was still able to make sure he wasn't hit by the big ultimate.
Sharp eyes and fast hands. Team LUNATIX continue to prove why they are here in the MPL. Rest of Team CARACAL, though, I'm a little worried. Their lineup, I don't think will be able to outscale Team LUNATIX. Even though Amal will eventually fall off and his snowball is now slowly coming to an end, people like Rain, people like Yamichi, and especially Mint are going to become more valuable.
I think even Goldilocks is actually going to scale kind of well here because he's in such a comfortable position. He went for the Demon Hunter's sword as a third item.
Okay, I can respect that. Let's see the Lord push advantage here. Only 1.9k of gold earned, but look at that tower damage. 17,000.
Yeah, that's comfortable for Team LUNATIX with the first Lord of the game as well. Right now, they're just consistently pushing and pressuring Team CARACAL, not allowing them to get farm from the jungle. And Yamichi, Goldilocks, again, doing such a good job of just being distractions. It's impossible for Team CARACAL to take out either of these heroes unless they invest all 5 members.
I think right now Team CARACAL is waiting for Team LUNATIX to make a mistake. So, the onus is on TL right now. With 8 more seconds, the Lord will spawn, and Yumichi continues to taunt his opponents, trying to bait Team CARACAL into a fight that they cannot win. I mean, first of all, Yumichi is pretty unkillable right now, but they do force the Tempest of Blades coming out of Ken so far, but nothing else.
What I have to question about Team CARACAL's draft is the fact that they really decided not to go with more CC for the Fanny. They last picked that Uranus and the Grok as well as their tanker when they know they have to deal with this hero. And you can see that Amal is having free reign of the map.
Can they punish this, however? Can they punish this? This is looking a little too close for Compertino. Tries for the steal. It's too late. Emal gets a monster kill as he takes the Lord away. And now this is go time for Team LUNATIX.
I just can't help but think that Team LUNATIX are dangling hope in front of Team CARACAL. You can see that Amal purposefully is slowing down his Lord take to try and bait people to engage on him. And as a result of that, they find a kill onto Sino, the Grok. Just not having a good game.
Team LUNATIX living up to their name. They're kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? They're kind of crazy. As Emal not getting his last item, he's going to get the immortality. And now for the final push here, Team CARACAL must defend extend this to get to their final item power spikes. Team Lunatics, this is prime opportunities for them to end this.
The Lord now gonna crash into the mid inhibitor, instantly destroying it, and Ava comes in. They're aiming down Rash. Uranus doesn't matter. Godlike going over the Fanny as now knockout from Xeno. Not going to do too much, but Yamichi finally falls for the first time in a while. Xeno gonna be taking a lot of damage. They actually get one more kill, but a mega kill going over the Rain, and the crystal just completely